Page navigation, it's a type of interaction, but it's not like you click on a button or somewhere in a Power BI visual and it gives you interaction. It's an experience. A good navigation enhances the user experience. So for example, if a user loses their way around in a Power BI model or in a Power BI, between Power BI report pages, that means it has very bad navigation. So in this series, I'm going to talk about Power BI page navigation. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my go-to page navigation techniques. There are various types of navigation techniques, especially when it comes to designing Power BI reports or Power BI dashboards. There is no right or wrong. If your user is happy and if it works for you, that means it's a good navigation. But when I am designing my Power BI models, I tend to go for my favorite ones. So my favorite ones are vertical navigation, horizontal navigation, and breadcrumb navigation. I sometimes tend to use some fancy ones as well. We'll look into that a bit later. So vertical navigation. Vertical navigation is also called left-hand navigation because as the name says, it sits on the left-hand side and it's a best practice to use the left hand than the keeping it on the right hand. But it's a vertical navigation. So vertical navigation is great when you have a lot of items. So basically vertical navigation is great for scanning. Like if you see many websites or apps, you see the vertical navigation when there is a lot of items. Amazon is a great example for the vertical navigation because when they have quite a few items, they use the vertical navigation. And we can use the same technique in Power BI as well. If you have quite a few items, you can increase your canvas size or your report page size, and you can make it scrollable, and you could use vertical navigation to get enough space and add all the items. Another great use of vertical navigation is it's good for just by using alignment, you can prioritize the items. For example, if you have various categories and under each category you have quite a few items and you want to keep all those items in your navigation in a left-hand side, that means you could use the vertical navigation because just by aligning them differently, you can give them a priority to your items. Horizontal navigation is also called tab navigation. Horizontal navigation is probably my favorite type of navigation, and also I think it's kind of a modern navigation. If you see the websites, again, if you see Amazon or many websites, they are more, you could see most of them are going towards the horizontal navigation than vertical navigations. Horizontal navigation works great when you have few items. It's like you can obviously increase your report page size and add more items. Horizontal scroll is not as user-friendly as having a vertical scroll. So horizontal page navigation helps you restrict the items. I mean, it makes you think about, do I really need all those items in my navigation? Maybe I just want to keep few items. I think horizontal navigation makes you think. And also horizontal navigation works pretty nice when you have images, and if you're going for a tile kind of layout, horizontal navigation is a perfect way to go for. And the other thing I like about horizontal navigation is it helps when you want to differentiate items. So in the vertical navigation, probably you have to use a different alignment or different colors or different patterns, something to differentiate items, because vertical navigation kind of makes you feel like everything is kind of similar. But in horizontal navigation, you could kind of group items, like a group same visuals. If you're talking about, in one page you're talking about products and in other page you're talking about whole financial stuff, then you could have that as a horizontal navigation, and it's kind of gives you a kind of interaction where they are related but not that they are not completely related. But when it comes to vertical navigation, you could have all the items or like all products under products category, and it kind of gives you, okay, these are all products. So I think when it comes to differentiate items, horizontal navigation works better than vertical navigation. Breadcrumb. Breadcrumb works great when it comes to when you have quite a few levels of navigation. So if you are having drill through, or like if you're drilling from product category 1 to category 2, category 3, category 4, and that's when user can easily lose their way around and how to go back. So Breadcrumb works amazingly well because it gives them, it connects the dots back. So it gives the navigation back. So that's when Breadcrumb works really good. And then there are some fancy ones like drop down, pop up, mega menu, or the bottom navigation. Drop down is great, but it is quite a bit of work when it comes to Power BI to work with. We have to do a lot of designing to make it work for us. It's not by default, it's available. Drop down is great if you're going for a horizontal navigation and you don't have enough space to show all your items. But when you click on an item, you want user to be able to select few more things. That's when drop down works pretty good. You can not only use the drop down on the top, you could obviously use the drop down on vertical navigation as well. Probably that's when it goes drop right. But that's a fancy bit more interaction to your Power BI report. And next one is pop-up. As the name says, you could have a pop-up window in Power BI, and well, it's like it's all workaround. It's not like easy way to just create a pop-up navigation in Power BI. But as I said, it's a fancy one, and I think this kind of pop-up is quite useful when you want to show, when you want your user to navigate away from that Power BI report. So if you are opening a new link, or if you're opening a separate report from this Power BI model, which means if it opens a new tab, I think that's when this kind of pop-up effect makes a bit more sense, because it's kind of gives them an idea like, okay, if you click on this, it's going to open a new tab for you. I think that's when I kind of use the pop-up menu. Next one is mega menu. I think I do like mega menu because it's a very minimal way of showing the data. Mega menu is like a index when you open a Word document, how you have header 1, header 2, header 3. In the same way, you can use the same technique in the mega menu as well. And it's minimal, not a lot of flashy things around. The designing is very easy to maintain, and it gives the user the navigation they wanted to. It gives an overall view, and the user can go directly where they wanted to, and they always know where they want to come back as well. So I like mega menu because how minimal it is, but I also don't like it because it's so easy. So yeah, I have 11. I think I like it. The next one is bottom menu. Bottom menu works great when you have images or icons or logos and things like that. And especially, I think if you're going for a full app layout, you have a single page, you don't have multiple report pages, you have one single page, and you have some icons or something that you wanted to show your user. I think that's when the bottom menu or bottom navigation works really good. And you see the bottom navigation in many mobile apps. I think that's why it's very easy when you have one page layout. I think it's modern as well, but I rarely use it. I don't know, it's definitely not my go-to navigation. But again, when I'm playing with open data, I tend to use bottom navigation. That's all. These are my favorite navigation techniques. In the future videos, we will look into each of these navigation techniques and how to develop them in Power BI, and the pros and cons and things around it. Just to reiterate what I've said, vertical navigation is great to scan. Horizontal navigation is great when you want to differentiate items or when you want to limit the number of items you're showing on your report page. The breadcrumb navigation works perfect when you want to help your user to find their way back to homepage. See you in the next video. Drill down, drill breadcrumb. Breadcrumb works better. And there are some fancy ones. So I think like you could use, and then there are some fancy ones like a drop down